So welcome back to DecoyNoise and another episode of Am I the Antagonist? And am I the antagonist for telling my drywall guy to stop bugging my babysitter? So as always, we read the story, we take it over to Decoy Court where I give you my knee-jerk reaction. I read over some of the top comments and the controversial comments, then we read your comments down below, but let's go ahead and get to the story right now. So OP wrote, "We are doing some house renovations and workers are in the house. Today, two guys were putting up drywall in the living room while our babysitter was playing with our daughter in the family room while I'm working in my downstairs office. I hear the drywall guy asking personal questions to my babysitter until her answers started getting short and her tone changes. I.e., guy, so where do you live? Her, north of here. Guy, yeah, but where? Her. It's kind of a weird spot. That's when I finally walked upstairs and told him, what is this, the census? She's watching my kid, let her be. I thought I did it in a joking manner, but I guess it came off harsher than I intended. My wife promptly informed me that I was an antagonist of the guy and the babysitter had it under control. I get that white knighting is a thing, and that I may have been out of touch with where I should be putting my foot down, so I leave the verdict to all of you. Am I the a-hole? And then update. We spoke about the situation just before she left. I apologized to her for the weirdo and let her know he won't be back. To quote her, the thirsty ones never get the hint. The most eye-opening takeaway from this was when she told my wife and I, if you think that was bad, you should check out my DMs. Her Instagram messages are from people that should be put on the offender registry." Guys offering her $700 a week to hold them. Guys she has never met offering to buy her plane tickets, and straight up phallic images. How are the phallic images people not on the registry? It's just street flashing with less effort. It's insane and apparently just a norm with the way she brushed it off. My wife is deflecting from whether I'm still the antagonist, but I'll take what I can get. In her defense, even the babysitter noted that while my comment was funny, my tone was actually straight up yelling at the guy. It's a give and take like anything in the world. Anyways, thank you for all your input, and here's to hoping the thirsty ones get the job. Wait, get it? Okay, which makes them work from home and off social media. Okay, so as always, gotta take the case and rush it over to Decoy Court where I give you my knee-jerk reaction to the situation, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say right now that, you know, I'm glad OP identifies that there is a whole white knighting situation, and since we don't really see the context here, we don't get the full story. Yeah, her answers got kind of short, but, you know, he was in the office downstairs, so he didn't know if the babysitter looked like visibly uncomfortable or was actively trying to get away, so I could see that being an issue where, like, you know, the whole OP running up there and trying to be the hero would be kind of meh, but I do see the situation where that would be the right choice on his behalf. But is the babysitter young and the drywall guy is some creepy old dude? We don't know, but for all we know, it could have been them just genuinely getting to know each other. You know, what if this was the Channing Tatum of drywall guys and we just don't know that? And, you know, like, babysitter is a college sophomore, so that would kind of make sense for them to be having a conversation like that. But then OP would just come across as this, like, jealous dude that accidentally snitches on himself on the way he's looking at the babysitter. You know, not only OP's interest in the babysitter, but also his view of the babysitter not being able to handle themselves. You know, attractive people get hit on constantly. Everybody wants to engage with them and make a small comment. What time is it? That's a cool shirt. Do you know where the Starbucks is? It's just constant situation they have. So some guy asking her questions while she's at work is fairly mild. So it's good that OP got to see her DMs and got to see the crazy part of it. I wonder what he would think if he saw, like, their online dating inbox or anything like that. It doesn't look like OP really gets the full picture here because he's still asking the wife, like, oh, am I the antagonist here? I don't know. But, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that there's no antagonist here, just for the simple fact that OP did it for the right reasons. You know, why does OP need to intervene in the babysitter's dating life? I don't really know. Maybe he just thinks it's on him since it's in his household and it's his employees as drywall guy, so I get that. But then we don't really know what everybody looks like here, because oftentimes when you're getting to know somebody for the first time, even at a bar or on an online date, it can kind of sound like the senses, especially if you're not good at online dating or just like meeting people in the bar. Could kind of be that dry, like, oh, so where you live, so what's this, what's that, you know, it could be awkward like that. So I do understand it, but I mean, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Before we take that short break, I do want your feedback before we read the comments and the controversial comments. Get yourself a Decoy coin by giving me some sort of good feedback. I like to hear what you guys are thinking. But as always, make sure you subscribe down below with the notifications on, because as I've been saying all the time, is ever since we went away from furlough DecoyNoise, people just aren't seeing me in their feed. But let's go ahead and take that short break, because the top comment is, not the antagonist, and big blessings to you. Your babysitter probably felt obligated to remain polite while working. You're the real MVP. And here's the thing is, yeah, this is a valid point right here. They got, what, almost 40,000 upvotes, and it does make sense that, like, you know, he would step in there, but we just don't know the full context of it. Maybe I'm just kind of bitter in that sense, because I have seen it where it's just like you have some people kind of hitting it off, but they're just kind of shy and awkward, and somebody butts in like their friend, oh, is this guy bothering you? And it's like, you're just being jealous. Maybe it's just because I've seen that happen in front of my face, where it's like, you know, the friend zone guy pops in. Maybe I'm speaking too much right now, but let's go ahead and read this next top reply right now, saying, absolutely, I didn't take it as white knighting, and especially if your babysitter is a teenager / younger woman, it's likely appreciated. Teenage me certainly wasn't confident enough to shut down creepy dudes, and I would have felt relieved knowing someone who employs me had my back in that sort of way. Don't doubt yourself for a second, OP. So here's someone that would be in that situation that kind of speaks to the fact that they don't know how the confidence to tell guys to back off. And I have heard of that, where some girls will even just give out their number because they don't feel confident enough to tell them, like, no, or just like, get away from me. They just, cool, do it, maybe that'll make him go away. So maybe that is a situation where you would need OP kicking down the door to go up there and say, hey, you leave them alone right now. But it does sound that the wife said she had it well under control, and also from the DMs, she's accustomed to this sort of thing. So let's go ahead and read the next top reply, which is, not the antagonist, this is the right thing to do. And also, agreed, if she was giving off the vibe that she did not want that attention, and she was in your house while you were absolutely justified in telling them off, whoever's in your house is under your protection. Which is true, a little Game of Thrones-y, but I mean, it's true. The thing is, though, is, if she was giving off the vibe that she did not want that attention, it seems that OP frames it when he's downstairs in a different room. He was like, yeah, they're talking, and all of a sudden her tone changed, and she's only giving one-word answers now, so now I gotta run up there and save her, when later on, wife says she had it under control, and then says, oh yeah, thirsty ones don't get the picture. Seems kind of, it's like a non-factor to her that she didn't really care. And also, look, there's DMs, these are much worse. That guy wasn't that big of a deal. So it does seem that everybody wants to kind of crown OP, like, you're the savior, good job, white knight them, do it, you know, which may be the situation, but it does kind of seem that everything else in the story, other than his just snap judgment in the moment, was leaning towards she was not threatened by the person. But who knows, maybe not. We don't see the whole full picture. But let's go ahead and read the next top comment, which is, not the antagonist. That's creepy. Likely better to have said, please don't interrupt my babysitter. She has her hands full with her work and needs to be fully focused on my child. But what you said is fine. And it's certainly not appropriate to have the babysitter fend for herself. If she's working for you in your home, it is your job to ensure other folks also working in your home respect her and don't act creepy. And I guess, yeah, I kind of glazed over the idea of the question. He was like, where do you live? And she's like, somewhere. He's like, no, where do you live? And that is creepy. So I do understand why they would want to step in and say, hey, I don't really want to take care of that sort of thing, that I don't want them involved in that. So I do understand why maybe my snap judgment wasn't good in that initial thing. But let's go ahead and see what OP had to say, saying, I like that wording. Thank you for your input. And the next reply is, I actually like the way you said it. It's funny. Also, not the antagonist. The guy is there to do a job, not chat up the babysitter. Which is true. He's like, I mean, you don't want to pay them to do that thing, but I guess I could see the context where it was a permissible, and I always try to say both sides of the scenario and never like fully commit to one thing, because we like to see both ends of it. But let's go ahead and read one more top reply, which is, not the antagonist. You hired this guy to work, not spend time chatting up your babysitter. You were not in any way out of line for intervening and giving your babysitter an out of conversation that was becoming uncomfortable for her. I'm sure the babysitter could have handled it, but that's not the point. It's not her job to manage the behavior. It was yours, and you did. Okay, I can kind of get that or whatever. Maybe I guess the better alternative would have been like, oh, he could have gone in the living room and say, hey, you want to go ahead and put the baby in this area or that area, or like, you know, giving them an out if they want to, you know what I mean? Like, not making the decision for them, because I don't want to say it's condescending to say like, oh, obviously you don't know how to handle yourself in the situation, when it kind of seemed like the babysitter did know how to. But I mean, it is kind of difficult for us to be not directly there, make judgment. But let's say top comments were giving us good perspective. Maybe the controversial comments will give us something that we haven't been seeing before. But this guy got heavily downvoted, but it's hard to click that button right there. But so they say, no way you're the antagonist. Your wife maybe though. Would she let her daughter be creeped on by the drywall guy like that? The dude's in your house showing some major league disrespect. And I think we just kind of automatically assume drywall guy is this creepy old dude that just like, you know, where do you live? I'm gonna follow you. What kind of car do you drive? That type of thing. But maybe he was good looking dude that's just regular, and they were having a good long conversation before she got short with him or whatever. Like, you just don't know. But I mean, but they got negative votes. I think that because they misconstrued it saying, hey, no way that you're the antagonist, but everybody saw you're the antagonist and just downvoted them, but maybe not. The next person replied saying, do you want to try this comment again? I'm not sure it went the way you wanted it to. And they said they edited it, so now it makes sense. Okay, so maybe we're just not seeing the original way it went. Next person saying, not the antagonist, your house, your rules. And then LMFAO, this is such a cliched response. Okay, I don't understand why that would be a cliched response. I don't know. I guess I have no comment for that. Next reply is saying, not the antagonist. You're not paying either of them to socialize with each other. And that's one thing I do kind of have I'm a little bit opposed to. It's like, so you're paying a guy to do drywall and you're paying someone to babysit. You need them to be a robot and babysit. I guess I'm still in the mind of it could have been a good interaction. We just don't know. But the situation of, I don't know, like if I'm paying a guy to do my drywall in my house, I wouldn't say, hey, don't listen to headphones, don't talk to your buddy, don't take a cell phone call outside. I'm paying you to not socialize. But I mean, maybe I'm just kind of more lax on that. But one more controversial reply, because this guy got a lot of votes, saying, could your wife suspect you have a thing for your babysitter and jealousy was your motivation? That's what her reaction screams to me. And here's the thing is, I don't want to simultaneously, you know, extrapolate the situation and think this, like, you know, jump to conclusions while we're kind of like judging OP for jumping into conclusions on as to how the conversation was going. But that could be a thing where he's like, hey, was I the antagonist? Hey wife, am I the antagonist? And she's like, I'm not gonna talk about it. It seems like she had it under control, because it does kind of, I'm always about subtext. I'm about, like, you know, investigating into things and seeing what, you know, what's there. That's why a lot of the fake stories that I post online that I'm trying to get people to react to is there'll be something laced in the subtext that I want them to inherently react to and not just like fully blast it out there, which is why I kind of feel like this person got heavily downvoted. So maybe my video as well will be heavily downvoted, because I had a little bit of what they're saying here too, but it does kind of seem that it's like, there's got to be something else in there that, like, why would you jump from, oh, the answers got a little bit shorter, so I got to kick the door down. And he said, I thought I was being funny, but he admittedly just said, oh yeah, I just went up there and yelled at him. I said, hey, get away, get back, or whatever, because that I don't really see the jumping between that without something else in the context of how he sees the babysitter, or his lack of and confidence in her ability to stand up for herself. There's just a lot of stuff in here that we just can't see, and unless we want to make these, like, you know, very, very broad generalizations as to what he's doing or what's going on, like when a guy does that for someone, like the whole white knighting situation, I don't know. But as always, give me your feedback. I like to know what you guys are thinking about, and if you made it this far in the video, I do appreciate you hanging out with me and listening to all my rambling and me doing this podcast, because I still do enjoy this greatly. Make sure you subscribe down below, notifications on, and also hit up that next video of DecoyNoise coming up next.